If you suffer from dry eyes, then I don't have to tell you how annoying this condition is. Dry, itchy eyes that are constantly uncomfortable, sometimes feel like they're full of sand or gravel. If someone's never had dry eye, they really don't understand the pain and the suffering. Some people's dry eye is so severe they even contemplate having a surgical procedure to partially sew their eyelids shut. That's how severe dry eye can be. In this video, I'm going to tell you about the dry eye diet so that you can actually eat foods and avoid other foods that contribute to having a good, wet, lubricated eye or can lead to dry eye. I'm Dr. Ken Berry, a family physician with 20 years of clinical experience, and that's what this video is about. It's a common misconception by most people suffering from dry eye and many physicians treating dry eye that your eyes are just dry with regards to water. You need more liquid in your eye. And so there's a plethora of drops that you can put in your eyes, and they do give temporary relief, but they don't fix the underlying root cause. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the physiology of dry eye and what it causes it. And then I'm going to tell you foods to eat and foods to avoid so that you can actually treat your dry eye naturally and get up to 70 to 80% improvement without having to take any supplements or any prescriptions or having the dreaded sew your eyes shut surgery. If you have dry eye, then I'm sure you've seen the news articles and research studies showing that omega-3 fatty acid supplements don't really help like we thought they would or should. And I'm going to explain why that is later in this video. Anytime doctors and researchers stumble upon a breakthrough like, hey, omega-3 fatty acids seem to help dry eye, they immediately think, how can I get an FDA approved medication out of this? A drop, a pill, an injection? Or how can I come up with a supplement that I can get a patent on and make millions or if not billions of dollars? That's just how researchers and doctors think these days. And it's actually, that's bad, but that's the truth of the matter. The Women's Health Initiative, some researchers actually went back and looked at that huge study, and they found that the women who ate lots of omega-3 fatty acid rich foods actually had a 70 to 80% less likelihood of suffering from dry eye symptoms. That's where that idea came from. But when you put the omega-3 fatty acid in a supplement, it just doesn't seem to do the same. And I think that's because although you are adding the omega-3 fatty acids, you aren't subtracting the things that can actually be contributing to dry eye, and you aren't fixing your diet in the other ways that need to be fixed in order to completely reverse dry eye and get rid of the symptoms. Now let's go through the foods that you need to absolutely add to your diet in order to give your meibomian glands the omega-3 fatty acids that they need. So meibomian glands make a very complex fatty molecule. And so how your eye works is your lacrimal glands secrete a water-based tear, right? And that adheres very closely to the surface of your eye. Then the meibomian glands, if they're operating correctly, secrete this complex fatty acid-filled, cholesterol-filled fat that is supposed to then cover the aqueous solution or the water solution and keep it from evaporating. So in reality, you should have a layer of water right over your eyeball and then a layer of fat over the water to keep the water from evaporating. That's what keeps your eyes lubricated and keeps you from having dry eye. You have about 50 meibomian glands on your top eyelid and about 25 on the bottom eyelid. And their one job is to secrete this complex fatty substance to keep the tears from evaporating. Problem is, if you don't give your meibomian glands the building blocks they need to make meibum, which is what it's called, then they can't do their job. And then your tears are not protected, they evaporate super quickly, and you wind up with a painful, sand-filled dry eye. So let's talk about the foods you need to add to your diet. First and foremost is you need to add not an omega-3 fatty acid supplement, you need to add omega-3 fatty acid rich foods That's how nature intended for you to get omega-3 fatty acids. So you want to eat things like mackerel, like herring, like sardines, like salmon. But you want to get your salmon wild caught from the west coast of the United States, not farmed on the east coast. It's much healthier to get west coast wild caught salmon. And I've actually got more information about omega-3 rich food sources in a little video. It'll pop up right there. You can click on it and watch it after this video. You want to get more vitamin A in your diet. And so anytime I say vitamin A, everybody always thinks, okay, so eat lots of vegetables, bright color vegetables. That's actually beta carotene in the vegetables. That's not real vitamin A. And some people only are able to convert a very small amount of beta carotene into actual real useful vitamin A. So rather than do that, you need to add vitamin A rich foods to your diet. And this includes liver from any animal. This includes butter that's grass fed. This includes the pastured yolks of farm-raised eggs. And I've got a video that tells you even more sources of vitamin A in your diet, real vitamin A, and it's a video that'll pop up right here. You can click on that and watch after this is over. So I would recommend adding 5 servings a week of the omega-3 fatty acid rich foods that I talk about in the video, and then 5 servings a week of the vitamin A rich foods that actually contain real useful vitamin A from the video per week. Also, you need to eat more fat and more cholesterol heavy foods. So saturated fat, if you actually look up the MEBA molecule, you can see that it's 2 very long chains of saturated fat. It's not polyunsaturated or monounsaturated, it's long chains of saturated fat. So you need to get more sources of saturated fat and cholesterol. Yeah, your MEBA glands use cholesterol to make MEBA. You've got to have it for that, or you're not going to make high quality MEBA that keeps your tears from evaporating. So you're going to eat more fatty red meat. You're going to eat more fatty seafood. That's where you're going to get saturated fat and cholesterol from. Eating cholesterol in your diet does not raise your serum cholesterol. I've got multiple videos about cholesterol on this channel if you want to check those out later. But you've got to add omega-3 rich fatty foods, you've got to add vitamin A rich foods, and you've got to add more saturated fat and cholesterol to your diet. When you add those things, you're giving your meibomian glands all the building blocks they need to make high quality MEBA, and it's going to make the symptoms of your dry eye get up to 70-80% better, or perhaps even go completely away. Now, the second list of foods are things that you absolutely need to avoid. Remember I said earlier that MEBA is a very complex molecule made of cholesterol and saturated fat, and if you're eating the wrong types of fat in the wrong ratios, then you're giving the meibomian glands the wrong kind of fat to work with. They can't really work with polyunsaturated or monounsaturated fats. And so there are certain oils that you need to avoid and greatly decrease in your diet. So what you want to have is a very high omega-3 fatty acid to omega-6 fatty acid ratio. You want to eat lots of omega-3 rich and minimize the omega-6 rich oils. Now, the omega-6 fatty acid rich oils that you need to avoid include canola oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, any margarine, and any vegetable oil that comes in a big container that looks golden but is actually only golden colored because it's been chemically treated. You need to avoid all those. They're very high in omega-6 fatty acids, and they're going to give your meibomian glands the wrong fatty acids to try to build MEBA with. Next, you need to really understand that eating a big ass salad every day, or eating 6 to 11 servings of bright, colorful vegetables a day, that's not going to give you the vitamin A that your eye needs in order to have optimal function. You've got to eat the actual vitamin A rich foods that contain real usable vitamin A. So I'm not saying salad's bad. I'm not saying carrots are bad. I'm just saying they don't have any vitamin A in them. So don't fill up your stomach with these basically nutrient void foods when you should be eating 5 servings a week of each one of the food groups I talk about above. Lastly is supplements. Just don't waste your money on an omega-3 fatty acid supplement. There's a couple of research studies that show that their results are lackluster at best. And I think that's because you're adding omega-3 fatty acids to your diet with the supplement, but what quality omega-3 fatty acids? Are they bound in a way that your body can actually absorb them and use them? Or did they just get the FDA to say, yep, that's close enough? But you're also not removing the omega-6 fatty acids that you need to get out of your diet. You're also not getting the cholesterol you need. You're not getting the fatty acids you need from taking this omega-3 supplement. The supplements are just a waste of money. And so if your current ophthalmologist or optometrist is giving you an omega-3 supplement or an eye vitamin, those are probably complete waste of money. You need to be getting these things from your diet so that your body knows exactly how to absorb them, how to assimilate them, and how to use them to make the mebum that your eye so desperately needs. The tips I lay out above in this video, that's actually the reason that so many people who convert to a fatty meat heavy ketogenic diet or a carnivore diet have such a great improvement in their dry eye symptoms, because they're getting all these building blocks that the meibomian gland needs to make beautiful, highly efficient mebum. I've linked to all the research that I used in the making of this video down in the show notes below. I also have links down there to some other things that are really, really good for you and help optimize your health. If you enjoyed this video, please take 1 second, click that subscribe button and the little bell button right beside it so that every time I have a bright idea, you'll be one of the very first people to know. This is Dr. Berry. I'll see you next time.